Asia intimidated us at first, so if you feel that way too, you're not alone.
We worried about communicating, how well we could get around, whether we'd do something wrong culturally, and how our stomachs would adjust.
And there's something nobody told us about traveling in Asia, and once we understood it, everything changed.
We planned to stay 3 months, but we ended up staying for 7 and exploring Japan, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Taiwan, and South Korea. This is the guide we wish we'd had before we left. I'm Judy.
And I'm Kevin. Welcome back to Finding Gina Marie, where we share our lives as full-time travelers and the connections we make along the way.
The first Asian country we visited was Japan. We arrived in Tokyo, and we were worried about being really overwhelmed by their huge transit system. I think the one thing that I wasn't really prepared for was how much information was coming at us at once and how overwhelming it felt. We've been in lots of foreign cities and we've traveled on a lot of train systems, but nothing prepared us to arrive in Tokyo.
I think the main problem was the options. There were so many options, even from the airport. Do we go this direction and go on that train, or do we go that direction and go on that train? And it wasn't clear. And when you don't have a clear choice, when the options seem overwhelming, then everything gets really overwhelming.
Now, especially in Japan, one of the things that really helped is that trains are always on time and that they run so frequently. So it's not as though if you miss a train, you're going to have to wait for 3 hours for the next one.
We didn't get to travel on trains and metro systems in all the Asian countries, but in Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, the train systems were wonderful. The platforms were clean, the areas were very organized, you had maps, you had information. It was a wonderful experience in every single one of those countries.
Our big fear was that we weren't going to be able to even navigate our way out of the airport.
But luckily, after we got a card and were wandering around looking what to do with it, a nice gentleman came up and instructed us how to charge the card, walked us through the steps, and that happens a lot in Asian countries. There's some very kind people that have helped us in every one of them.
Yep. Now, one nice thing is that either Apple Maps or Google Maps works in each of those countries. One might work a little bit better than the other, but it's not like you're going to land and then be totally unable to get around.
It's always hard when a language is so different that you can't even understand it at all. The symbols in a lot of Asian countries look so much different than Roman characters that you go, I'm not sure at all what I'm staring at. Luckily, most of the signage is in both the local language and in English. And a lot of the train systems, when you're on them, they flash between local language and English. There's a lot of displays. The technology there can be really nice in many of these places. So you get visuals, you get this station is the next one to stop off at. You're not stuck with a chaotic ancient system. These have been updated very recently.
Yeah, it definitely was a lot easier for us to get around even though we didn't know the local language. But at the same time, if you can learn even a couple of phrases like thank you, hello.
Yeah, just the common words that you're going to say to everybody all the time. Maybe excuse me, because that happens a lot.
When we were in Taiwan and we went to the one coffee shop and we said thank you in Chinese, oh my gosh, you would have thought that we said a whole paragraph, how excited that they were that we made an effort to say thank you in Chinese.
Now we had to ask them every day, are we saying it right? Because I think we kept shifting the accents and stuff like that. But
they really appreciated our efforts.
Yeah, get to know the people. It's kind of a fun thing for them. It's like, oh, you're getting better today.
That is true.
Yeah.
You're building relationships.
One great thing about going to any country is there's probably rideshare. If the metro system looks like it's going to take too long to get somewhere, or if it's a bit too confusing for you, look what the local rideshare app is. It might not be Uber. It might be Grab or Bolt or some other app. But you can get around almost every country, and some countries it's really cheap to get around in those apps.
You don't always have to worry about not having cash, and you know exactly how much your ride is going to cost before you even hire them. One of the things that intimidated us first was when we were in Ho Chi Minh City and we were having to cross a very large intersection that didn't have signal lights. And it was really intimidating. We didn't know when we could go. And there were a lot of motorbikes. It felt like we were asking for a lot of trouble. But we ended up just mirroring what other locals were doing and followed. When they stepped out into the street, that's when we stepped out.
In fact, we took a tour there, and our guide showed us that if you just put your hand out and let them know that you're crossing the street, it was like a superpower. The car stopped, the motorbike stopped, or they just kind of wiggle around you as they saw that you gave direction, like point where I'm going, put your hand over here. Magic.
I mean, I wouldn't say that they necessarily stopped, but they at least slowed down a little bit. So you have to keep walking.
Yeah.
And honestly, after you do it a few times, it feels a little less like you're putting your life in danger.
Just be brave. Even if you've had Asian food in your home country, things look different when you're actually in their country, and it may not be the Americanized version of those foods. And some restaurants were very different with how you got your food. Like we first walked into a pastry shop in Japan, people were grabbing these trays and tongs, like your own personal tray and tongs, and went to each pastry and picked out what they wanted to, then they went to the cashier and paid. So we watched them, parroted what they did because it seemed like the right thing to do.
You'll be doing a lot of parroting when you are in Asian countries, and it just makes things a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Some restaurants have QR codes that bring up menus, and sometimes you're ordering at the table through an app. Other places have a little bell on the table. You ring the bell when you're ready to order, so look for those little bells sometimes. Other places have a machine that you actually go to first. In fact, we thought we were going to get some ramen at this place, and we started to walk up to the counter, and they kind of pointed us over to the machine. It's like, oh, and what you do on the machine is you put in your order, pay for it, you get a ticket out that you take to the counter, and then they fill that order.
We were able to go to ATMs in all of these countries and get the local currency. And you will want to do that because in all of them, we needed cash at one time or another.
Let's talk about food safety. We know it's one of the biggest things people worry about. Luckily for us, we didn't have real problems in Asia, but we were also very careful.
It's not necessarily that you've eaten bad foods if you have stomach problems. Sometimes it's merely that your body isn't used to the oils, the spices, and the unfamiliar ingredients.
And of course, if you do have stomach problems, there are pharmacies in all these countries, and they certainly will be happy to help you.
Some of our best memories of our time in Asia are the foods we ate, so don't miss out on trying local cuisine. So before we arrived in Asia, one of the things that I worried about was whether the food would agree with me. But I didn't expect that we would be overwhelmed at the restaurant choices and what looked like it would have food that we would enjoy eating.
I think one of the things that surprised me most was some of our favorite experiences were very local restaurants. In Taiwan, there was this beef soup place, and it was not for tourists at all. It was in an alley. You had to kind of find your way there. They didn't speak English, but you kind of knew the beef soup. They gave you a big bowl of that, and it was delicious. We took a chance, and that made our experience so much better.
Our choice for tonight was beef noodles spicy or beef noodles spicy.
Yes, they said the lines are the longest after 5. There was no line, but there was also no choice in the food.
Which is fine. We wanted spicy, so
And this is a big bowl, so wish us luck.
we'll be good.
And it was really crowded. So you had a degree of confidence that you were going to be getting fresh, good food.
Yeah, we're lucky we got a table, actually.
That's true. And sometimes you just have to go into a place, look around, and make a choice. Originally, I was a little worried that we weren't going to be able to read menus or anything, but most menus either had photographs or they had English translations, and we were able to figure things out. I remember trying pho for the first time. Now, we've had it in the US, but it felt totally different being an Asian eating it. And they showed me how to eat it, so it was a lot less intimidating than I thought it would be. And the same thing when we were in, I think, Hanoi.
Rice paper.
And they were making spring rolls for us. There was a waiter who actually put together the first few rolls to teach us how.
In fact, it was funny because the waiter wasn't doing it it well enough for the manager. He came over, took over. No. And he showed us how to do it. And then he actually held it up and had us take a first bite. Here's how you eat the food.
Yeah, I feel like people were very kind and non-judgmental that we didn't know what we were doing. They weren't expecting us to necessarily.
No, and they were just happy to celebrate their food. And we were happy to celebrate it with them.
I think it did help us in the beginning to eat at more of the formalized restaurants, just so we had a little bit more of an idea of what food would look like. Some of the really local places were a little more intimidating, but once we had kind of gotten our legs under us, it was a lot easier to eat at some of those places.
Yeah, swim in the shallow water first. A big concern for a lot of people is spice, and us too. I mean, we're good at American spice levels, but sometimes these countries can be very spicy. And other ones weren't spicy enough, so we were really confused sometimes.
Well, specific countries don't necessarily have spicy food, which I don't know that I realized before going in.
Right.
But at the same time, even though a lot of the waiters didn't necessarily speak English, they did understand the word spicy, or they would tell us spicy, and we could just gesture a little or a lot. And it's always better to ask it for it to be a little underspiced, and you can always add more.
Of course, there was a Thai curry place where I think I asked about spice. Maybe I didn't ask well enough because the spicy curry that I had.
So what do you have here?
Spicy pork northern Thai curry. Whenever the wait server says, "Do you like spicy?" I always worry a little bit.
Especially here where the reviews said it was pretty spicy food.
Okay, I got medium spicy. That was a kick and a half. Holy cow.
Is it good?
Yes, I think. It is a lot spicier than I thought.
That's part of the experience, if you ask me.
Fun.
Sometimes I also didn't know how to eat, like what utensils to use, or am I supposed to leave this in this bowl and eat from this bowl? Am I supposed to put it up to my mouth? Should I be finding a spoon? Or there were logistical issues, and literally I just looked around to figure out how to do it.
Looking around helps for finding what plates you want to eat too. There's some delicious foods on other people's tables. Like, what's that? We want that. Some of the best food in Asia isn't in the restaurants. They're in the night markets, they're in street food stalls, they're all over the place. And the way you figure out how to eat street food is by looking for the busy places.
Yeah, you definitely want to be choosing food that was fresh made, hot, and usually with a crowd in front of it.
The more people there, the more the food is being turned over. It's not sitting there stale. You're getting really fresh cooked food. What helped us most was remembering that hot, fresh, and busy is better than old, cold, and quiet. And the night markets in Taiwan gave us so much variety in one place. We could wander through these many streets of stalls and try 5 or 6 different foods, where you could never do that in a restaurant.
Yeah, well, I mean, limited only by your stomach size.
We could only handle 5 or 6 foods. I wanted more.
We have an article on our website that's going to give you do's and don'ts and recommendations to help you feel really comfortable about food in Asia.
Our first introduction to Asia was very chaotic. That doesn't mean that's the way everything is. We had some very exciting blinky light areas of Tokyo, and then we had some really serene parts of Siem Reap and other countries. It's not all chaotic and crazy.
One suggestion is to read the reviews when you're booking your accommodations so that you understand what part of town you're choosing to be in. It's a really basic idea, but it works.
And you can always ask your host or your hotel what the area is like, what the nightlife's like, what the sound level's like. All those things are really helpful.
And there are, of course, a lot of peaceful gardens. There's a lot of opportunity for contemplation and meditation. It doesn't have to be this busy, wild experience.
Yeah, we thought Seoul was going to be this crazy New York City-like environment. We walked out and it's like, oh, peaceful, restful parks. Oh, lovely, quiet streets. It's like, where's the New York City? This doesn't feel like New York City.
Yeah, it's not what we expected at all in the best of ways.
Yeah. As far as understanding customs and social norms, respect goes a lot further than perfection. You don't have to know everything going in. When we were in Siem Reap, it was custom to leave your shoes at the front door. You didn't wear them into the building.
And actually, a lot of places had that, where the expectation is that you are not going to be wearing your outdoor shoes inside spaces.
Yeah, a lot of Japanese hotels will give you slippers so you can leave your shoes at the door and inside the door. You don't have to leave them outside. But it's just, you follow what the custom is.
Yeah, if you see shoes lined up, that's probably a good cue that that's what you should do with your shoes.
Exactly. More parroting.
While you might think it's intimidating to go into a temple, again, you mirror what other people are doing. And there are also signs. So you could see whether you need to have your shoulders covered and whether your shoes need to come off. And it's pretty obvious because there'll be a bunch of other shoes on the ground as well.
When we were in Thailand and the Silver Temple, it was very clear that women weren't allowed inside. So I had to go inside and take all the footage.
Which, as a woman, is sometimes a bit offensive, but at the same time, we are in a foreign country and these are their customs and this is a religious site, so you follow the customs of the place that you're visiting.
Overall, I think most people were very kind at every site we were at and every place we went to, and they're very helpful.
I actually think that one of the reasons so many people are enchanted by Asia is because the people are extremely friendly and kind. They're not waiting to see when you make a mistake. They're actually looking to see how they can step in and help. And I think that that was very heartwarming in every country we visited.
Definitely. There's a subway system in South Korea where they're doing QR codes and they would time out. So I got stuck behind a subway gate. Judy was already through and I couldn't get through. And this nice person came over, helped me, figured it out, got someone come over, let me through the gate. Incredibly kind, couldn't speak a lick of English, didn't matter. They saw us in trouble and they helped out.
Yeah, I definitely felt like there were people all the time in every place willing to help out. It was really heartwarming.
Yeah.
Now, we're able to do pretty okay because Kevin's technology savvy. But if you aren't, and that's one of the concerns that you have, we hope we can put your mind at ease.
Now, there's a lot of things that are automated in Asian countries, and some of the most complex systems aren't as complex as they look at first glance. Most of the equipment is either easy to operate if you know what buttons to push, and there are usually people around to help you. Sometimes the train systems in Japan were a little confusing to book tickets for, the high-speed train systems. But there's always a counter that you can go to and work with a person. If you walk up to the machine and it looks too confusing, look around. Is there a counter somewhere? Is there a live human? Go to the live human.
And that's what we did when we were going to Kyoto from Tokyo. Yeah, it made things so much easier because we just weren't sure and we didn't trust ourselves. And it was the first Asian country that we arrived in and we were overwhelmed in the beginning. By the end of our trip, we spent over 40 days there. We were zipping around and it was no big deal. And a lot of the technology is in English. There's a button that you can change it from the local language to English. So that takes away a lot of the problems that you might be feeling.
If your mobile phone plan doesn't have worldwide roaming, that's fine. eSIMs are available everywhere. And the nice part is you don't have to go to a store to get an eSIM. There's plenty of apps on your phone, and we have an article on our website that talks all about eSIMs and how they can really help you out.
Now, this topic is one that women probably worry about way more than men, and that's if you're going to have to deal with squat toilets instead of Western style ones. The good news is that I think every place we went did have Western style toilets. Maybe there was an occasion where you could use a squat style toilet or a Western. I always opted for the Western ones.
What you do want to carry with you in a foreign country is hand sanitizer and some tissues. You also might want to have some change because a lot of these bathrooms require coins just to get in them.
What's the one thing that feels the most intimidating for you about visiting Asia?
One big fear many people have in traveling to Asia is what happens if I have a health problem? In many of the major cities in Asia, they have world-class healthcare. In fact, we specifically went to Thailand to get our medical exams. We went to the Chiang Mai Hospital and had fantastic service there. faster and more efficient than a lot of other places in the world.
One of the things that we learned when we had these full, deep medical checkups was that there was an English-speaking liaison that worked us through the process. So it's not as though you even have to use a translator app or anything else. There are English-speaking people in hospitals to help out.
And even though we were pretty comfortable with traveling to Asia at first, it still felt distant somehow because everything was so different from what we're used to. There's like that gap that we had to jump across.
Yeah, I think there was so much unexpected and so much that we worried would feel really unfamiliar. But I think one of the primary things that we learned is that people are the same everywhere. And although they might have different customs and different ways of doing things, maybe the foods are unfamiliar and everything else, at their core, people are kind, and it's a lot less intimidating than you think it might be.
Yeah, and we had some amazing hosts and amazing people that we met. Some people that we still talk to this day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have made so many wonderful memories from people in Asia, and they will forever hold places in our heart.
In fact, what's fun is we have people following in our footsteps, going to the same places and reporting the same exact experience. They were so kind at this place. Your host was really good for us. You know, it's just refreshing to see that it wasn't just a one-off experience, that this is the norm.
One of the reasons that we're talking about this topic now is we're headed back to Asia in the beginning of 2026. We're going to be visiting Laos and Bangkok, also Singapore and Malaysia. We're very excited. And that feels a little bit different than the first time we visited when we were extremely intimidated.
If you've been dreaming of going to Asia, but holding back a little bit, we hope this video has given you a little more confidence.
And if you are feeling more confident about traveling to Asia, we think you'll enjoy this full playlist of all of our Asia videos. If you haven't already subscribed, we would love for you to do that. And the best compliment you can give to us is to recommend our videos to your friends and family.
And remember to
wander more,
worry less,
and bring a passport.
Until next time.
Until next time.